best way I could explain it, it was like looking through a cheese grater. This is how my vision was. Just trying to look through a cheese grater. We start the practice field, the kicker kicks the ball to me. I just hear everybody behind me, all my teammates like, oh, that's a perfect kick, Fel. You don't even gotta move. I'm looking in the air and I don't see the ball. And it hits me right in the face, boom.
Here's Felder with running room. Justin Felder. On his feet, one man to beat, Justin Felder.
Justin Felder, during his time here at Stonehill, was definitely one of, if not the best player in the league.
He was really, really good. You know, they were a run-oriented offense. He was the featured back.
That was very good. I don't like to speak about it too much because I don't like to, boast.
So we'll go ahead and boast for him, because Justin Felder was one of the best running backs in Division II. And he was a walk-on.
I think he was probably the last guy on the running back depth chart when he first got here. You know, he just really worked at it every day.
I was sitting behind a very good running back in Brian Kearns Jr. Unfortunately, his senior year, my sophomore year, he suffered a season-ending injury. The very next game, I started with 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then that kind of started a trend.
An All-American trend. Felder led the NE10 in rushing in 2019 and touchdowns in 2021. But unbeknown to the outside world, he did that all while fighting more than opposing defenses.
Inside the 15, 10, 5, diving to the pylon. That's a touchdown.
During COVID is when I was diagnosed with a very rare disease called uveitis. It took me a couple times to pronounce the word, asked him how to spell it. A couple times, asked him to use it in a sentence. An eye disease that attacks my peripheral vision, and it starts from the outside and eventually moves in.
Felder sought treatment 30 miles away at a clinic that specialized in his condition and had everything under control. And then in 2022, he transferred for grad school and away from his doctors.
I'm there for probably no more than 2 weeks, and my vision starts to mess with me.
The uveitis has to be controlled if it's more chronic or severe. It then has to be controlled by means as a long term, because people will treat it with things that help inflammation, like steroid drops. But if it keeps coming back, the steroid drops and the inflammation both cause you to start to lose vision. And that happened to him. I'm
not feeling my eyes getting worse. I'm just playing football, doing what I love. It's my last year, so I'm trying my best to, work through it.
But they're your eyes. Justin couldn't see straight, and clearly it was making an impact.
Sunlight would hurt. I couldn't be outside a lot. I did not use my laptop. I couldn't see it. I used my phone with night mode, and it's affecting the way I'm playing. So I'm not really playing too much at Tiffin, because when I'm in, I slow down the offense. They have to operate differently because of my eyesight and things like that.
And then one Sunday, it reached a breaking point.
I was able to see outlines of people, but I wasn't able to see facial expressions. I couldn't tell you where your nose was or your eyes was, but I knew you were there.
So Felder went back to his specialists in Massachusetts.
And the doctor informs me that I am legally blind, and my vision was 150/25, which is horrible. She was like, have you been playing football for the last 4 weeks? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, that's done. And at this point, I instantly break down, start crying. And I'm like, what do you mean it's done? Like, is it done forever? Is it done from now? And she's like, yeah, you'll have a chance to come back. We need to operate and do what we need to do to get you back.
When you have this problem and it's severe enough, and it doesn't go away, and it's difficult to treat even for somebody who knows what they're doing, it can still lead to cataracts and inflammation, scarring, things like that inside the eye. And the eye is not like the other parts of the body that if there's some inflammation, it kind of bounces back. The eye doesn't always do that. So he developed scarring and cataracts in his eyes, and he's, in his early 20s, which is 50 years away from when you're supposed to have cataract surgery.
Which set up a long road ahead that eventually led to 6 surgeries.
Before you can do the surgery, you have to control the disease, because if you do the surgery when the disease is active, then you can become worse. So that was our first challenge, was to treat him, make sure we got his disease under good control, which wasn't easy because the whole eye was affected. It wasn't just a single part. We have sort of a dogma around here, never give up. And if you can do that, and you can get the right situation going, then you can recover.
And in January 2023, Felder entered the transfer portal, already with a graduate degree in hand, but still one final season of college football eligibility. And one coach's words from Felder's last stint in the portal rang out in his head.
He texted me and said, when it doesn't work out at Tiffin, give me a call.
I knew the football player, Justin, but I got to know him as a person and knew that as a grown person, a mature kid, he'd be a wonderful addition to what we were doing.
Well, at some point, because Felder wasn't exactly in football shape just yet. So he joined the team in January 2024, 7 seasons after he first played college football.
When you work out, you build up pressure in your eyes, and that is not anything I needed for my surgery or anything like that. So I haven't worked out for now a year and a half, almost at this point. You would think the first day I threw up probably about 5 or 6 times. And from that day moving on, I told him, I was like, that's the worst you're ever going to see me at.
And he was right.
There goes Justin Felder around the corner and down the sideline, and a touchdown for Justin Felder.
He could be a frontline player in this conference still. I know that he could, but he's great to have for Christopher Ace and for Zayon Lindy to watch and be around.
I'm kind of like a player coach here for them, and it helps to give them advice. And after I give them advice, see them go on the field and do what I just told them to do and see it work, and then they come to, thanks, Unc, thank you, Unc. So that actually brings me a lot of joy, and then just actually sometimes my number gets called.
This fall, Justin finished his career with a 455-yard season, averaging 9 yards per carry, 3 years after he couldn't have even seen the ball.
The first time I checked in, it was kind of surreal. I was actually in the first play of the game because I'm on kick return and kickoff. So just getting those nerves out. The first kick came to me, but it went out of bounds. So that was a little nerve-wracking. I was like, all right, I don't got to start yet. It was cool, but
You saw it.
I did see it. I did see it.
He did awesome, and he was a rock through the whole thing. He's a pretty remarkable guy. It's good to see that he's playing again. I was looking forward to that.
It was the main thing. It was all I wanted to do. I don't have my whole life to play football. So this is my last year of college eligibility, and I wanted to make sure I used it and made the most of the opportunity that I was given. I looked to my mom, my dad in the stands, and I was like, yeah, I still got it. I could still do it. This old dog still knows some tricks.